I will jam in some calls before this hour of transmission ends. They'll be all over the map at Ben Fuchs. And I've had a chance to hang out with him in California when I was out there speaking. He's friends with KSCO owner Michael Zwirling. And also to hang out with him a couple days with Rob Dew and Ted Anderson in New York. And I'm really stunned by his breadth of knowledge. He really does have a wide spectrum understanding. We're going to get into some of the most deadly prescription drugs versus good vitamins and minerals. And by the way, I'm teamed up with Ben Fuchs at InfoWarsTeam.com. He's our advisor. We carry many of the products he's developed, like Pollen Burst. And going back 6 months ago, I just stuck these in the house because my wife likes nutritional stuff to see what she'd do. And without me hyping it, she came back and said, this is the best ever. She's a lot more health conscious than I am. I'm so busy. I'm trying to get more health conscious. If I dedicated all my time to it, I could do it. But the point is, I'm trying to get more into it. And she loves the Pollen Burst. She loves the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. These are full spectrum vitamin, mineral systems where you absorb a lot more of it than the toxic artificial forms of it that Big Pharma puts on store shelves. InfoWarsTeam.com. And we'll also punch that up on screen later, and I'll give you the toll-free number to call if you've got any questions. We've got great people there to answer your questions. But I wanted to get to something else dealing with perception management and brainwashing, and then get Ben Fuchs' take on it. We always talk about how they're trying to dumb media down. And Frontline on PBS has done a good report where they talk to the executives, and it's admitted that going back decades ago, a conscious decision, more than decades ago, but with TV, they decided to lower the language, use less words, dumb it down, and that it's not that the media is even giving people what they want, the old dominant media, it's that they're force-feeding it. And people complain that there's not enough substance in politics. It's about how their hair looks, or do they go to NASCAR races, or what team do they like? And so it's all about likability. And that's always been the problem. You want to go for the statesman or woman who actually stands for issues that you agree with. And you're supposed to know the facts. And I've watched debates, since I've been watching them for 30-plus years, degenerate. I mean, I watched Reagan in debates. I watched George Herbert Walker Bush in debates. I watched them all, and they get more and more broken up where they're not debates. It's just questions. It's canned answers because they don't want the real issues injected. Now, I'm not mad at Ron Paul, but I don't know why he answered the question. He paused. He's not a smart mouth person, but I don't think it would have been smart mouth if he just said, that's not an important question. We've got a global depression. But Ron Paul's a gentleman. He answered the question. But they were saying, what type of chicken do you like? What type of hot wings? What's your favorite baseball team? And it is so disgusting to see them in these already dumbed-down debates. More and more, every election cycle, they get worse and worse. And if we put up with this, and there's not a hue and cry against this, they will spend the next 2-hour debate asking people cooking recipes. And that's not what this is about. It's not about giving PR people a way out to dumb things down and have less knowledge. That's why they've always hated having Ron Paul in these debates, because real issues get out there. And we get real arguments going on. So as things get worse and worse, here they are trying to make it this pop garbage.
There you go.
They want to make you love the politicians. It's about government that has a 9% approval rating because you're aware of what their real policies are. It's about government now making you like them because no real issues are discussed. I mean, this is pure propaganda. And Romney goes one even further and obviously implies that during a break he was checking his iPhone to see where, his favorite team was doing. I mean, this is evil. Ben Fuchs, they must be getting desperate.
If you didn't play that for me, I would have thought it was some kind of joke. I mean, I didn't watch the debates for that very reason. I didn't think it would stoop down that low. But that's got to be one of the most ridiculous statements on the American culture that I've ever heard in my life. That is absolutely absurd, what you just played. That is absolutely absurd. I'm dumbfounded. I don't even know what to say. But you know what, folks? It's up to us to raise the bar. It's up to us to take the ball into our own court.
Oh, if I'd have been there, I would have said, how dare you bring this up, a bunch of little pap childish side issues. We've got serious issues. We've got our veterans having their health care cut. We're going into a depression. We've got now 5 wars going on, now one in Yemen. I'm not going to talk about my favorite pizza or what type of cell phone I got. If I would have gotten a cell phone call, I'd say I got one for emergencies, but I try not to use it because it's giving people brain cancer. I mean, we need to be a serious country. If they want us obsessed with baloney so they can engage in running the world. They don't want us in the real world. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's an absolute travesty what you just played, and I agree. I think I'm surprised Ron Paul didn't say something. I heard him kind of hesitate a little bit, like he didn't believe he was going to be answering that question. But I'll tell you what, Alex.
No, he did look angry. He did look angry. But, I mean, oh, man, I tell you.
That's a tragic statement, but just underscores the importance of us taking the ball into our own court and starting to do something about this. I wonder what somebody whose house is being foreclosed on and who's been out of work for 6 months would think about whether Mitt Romney likes thin crust or thick crust. Jesus, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got to get the whole debate and actually boil it down because it went on for like 10 minutes. Oh, that's another issue. Burning up time. You got an hour and a half debate and for 10 minutes? I went and found it this morning, the whole thing, and skipped it. I mean, they went for like a whole segment into the next segment, and we're asking them all, pizza? What's yours? What's yours? What's yours? I mean, oh my, I mean, no one in history would have acted like this. No one. I mean, can you imagine if they asked George Washington in a presidential debate, what's your favorite bird dog? He would have said, my dear sir, we have more important things to do presently. I mean, it's incredible how they turn us into children. Folks, you're not supposed to act like you're 6 years old for your whole life. I'm sorry. I mean, I see adults. I listen to conversation. They're all like a bunch of children, man.
Well, to what extent are we culpable for questions like that? To what extent are we complicit that they think it's okay to present that kind of message at a presidential debate, which I don't even know how they call it a debate.
Well, Ben, listen, I've been ranting here, and I want to go to some calls. Break down quickly some of the most deadly drugs out there, what they're really doing versus truly high-quality vitamins and minerals, and the type of incredible results you've seen for some of the mainstay chronic illnesses that are becoming so commonplace.
The number one, and it's tough to say the number one class of toxic drugs because they're all pretty darn toxic, but the ones that stand out for me are the high blood pressure drugs, the so-called antihypertensives, and there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, they are powerful poisons of the nervous system, so-called beta blockers and calcium channel blockers that people get put on almost automatically when they have high blood pressure. You see, these beta blockers and calcium channel blockers block everything. And folks, if you hear the word blocker in terms of your prescription drug, that's a prescription drug you don't want to take because you can't just block one system. A beta blocker blocks the entire beta nervous system, which is 1/2 of your nervous system, and you're playing with fire if you use it. And the reason why I'm so up in arms about these antihypertensives is only 1/2 because they're toxic, but the other half is because they're so unnecessary. Dropping your blood pressure is one of the easiest things to do. Dropping your blood pressure simply by taking in supplements that open up blood vessels such as niacin and the B complex, electrolytes like magnesium and potassium, and most importantly, folks, the single most important thing you could do for your health and longevity, drop your insulin, make your body more sensitive to insulin, lower your blood sugar. Your blood pressure will drop so fast that you'll have to get off your prescription drug or it will drop too low.
But they can't sell you exercising, eating healthy, and not drinking as much sugar or eating as much sugar. They'd rather let you continue to be sick and then use something that blocks it, that takes care of that, but causes a whole other panopticon of other problems because they got drugs to sell you on that front.
If you want to drop your blood pressure, you should drop your blood pressure, and if you want to do it, you do not need prescription drugs to do it, and it's one of the simplest, easiest nutritional strategies that you can, effects from nutritional strategies that you can ever achieve. Dropping your insulin, making your body more sensitive to insulin, dropping your blood sugar, taking the B complex and electrolytes, and your blood pressure will drop like a stone, and you'll lose weight on top of that as well. The second thing, a second class of drugs that troubles me are these anticonvulsant drugs that they use for bipolar bipolar disorder and for emotional problems. And any pharmacist will tell you that Tegretol and Depakote and valproic acid and Dilantin, these drugs they used to use them just as anticonvulsants. Now they're using them for anxiety and for bipolar disorder. Those are among the most deadly drugs of all, and you need to have your liver checked every 6 months when you're on them. And by the way, if you're on a drug like the statin drugs that requires that you need to have your liver checked every 6 months, that's telling you that you are playing with a deadly drug. And let me tell you something, folks. They make it seem like those statin drugs are like M&Ms. They're like candy, and there's no problem, and we can give them to children, and we should put them in the water, and they should be over the counter. And that is far from being true. They're so toxic, these statin drugs, that liver enzymes are elevated in 1 out of 100 people who take them, and even more than that are subject to liver toxicity that don't show up with liver.
And by the way, elevated liver levels, that's a fancy way of saying your liver is leaking. There's cells dying. It's swelling up like you're drinking a quart of Jack Daniels every day.
That's right. And you know, today we have a new disease called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that's the same disease you used to have to drink a pint a day to get. Now everybody's getting it, so they call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. And they say, well,
and now we have early onset of brain degenerative disorders, and now young people are getting Alzheimer's. Drink more aspartame, drink more out of aluminum cans, and they had studies 30 years ago in rodents with aluminum that they had their brains rot. I mean, they know what they're doing.
You don't want to touch aspartame, folks. In fact, as terrible as sugar is, it's probably better than aspartame. At least your body has evolved metabolic systems to take care of sugar. And by the way, the sweet taste alone is problematic. So whether a sweetener is artificial or a sweetener is non-artificial, just that sweet taste alone initiates an insulin response. And as I say, if you have to pick one system that you want to regulate in order to maintain your health and longevity, it's that blood sugar and insulin system.
Now, I want to go to some calls, but we have a cornucopia, and now we made the site even better. If you go to InfoWarsTeam.com, we'll put this up on screen, and you click on the purchase products area. You sign up like Costco or something for $10, you get a big discount, and then you can also sell it to others, which I think is a great idea. I just give it to family, but I gave it to family. Now a lot of them are signing up and buying it. It's that good. If you go to the purchase products area, and we'll click on that on screen for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, if you click on that tab up at the top, over on the right-hand side, we have all these icons there for the entire body, for the brain, for the blood system, for the bones, for the liver, for the eyesight. It's all there. But I'm telling you, the two products I like the best, well, there's several of them, the 5-day cleansing program, the pollen burst, things like the tangy tangerine. How important is cleansing? Go over some of those products that are at InfoWarsTeam.com, because I've searched them out. I've talked to the experts. I've looked at everything. And this is the system that I found gets the best results. And your purchase also funds this broadcast. I've done 2 hours and 45 minutes here, and just in this third hour of, plug to sponsor and a product. But I only promote things I believe in, and I believe in InfoWarsTeam.com and the longevity products. The toll-free number to call and ask any questions, 877-551-1301. That's 877-551-1301. Great folks there to answer any of your questions. But you can just buy them straight off the site or sign up and get discounts, InfoWarsTeam.com. It's $10 to sign up and get the discounts.